Welcome everyone in the new year 2018. Today I would like to tell you another life coaching story I've had around 3 weeks ago here in Kochang, and the topic is around judging yourself on others, so that you're judging yourself based on the feedback you get from others. And what is of course not very nice full thing, because then you are trying to be maybe somewhere else, like, oh, I'm the funny guy, the funny girl, or the very successful guy in job, or the girl that I get from the other, the feedback, hey, you're good, you're cool, and this gives you a good self-confidence. So the question is why you need that, and how exhausting is that to do that, and why can't you give it to yourself? That you're only dependent on what other give you as feedback. And the girl I've had this session, she came from the US, and we met each other on the beach, and we were talking about traveling and deeper and longer discussion than around job, what we do. And when I told a little bit about my story and my experiences, she said, yeah, I have really a challenge inside me, or a problem, what is very stressful for me, and this is the topic. I'm judging myself based on the feedback from others, and that's a very, very uncomfortable thing, she said. And I said, okay, yeah, if you want, we can have a look on that. And she said, yeah, let's do it. And 2 days later, we had the coaching on the beach. So I was starting, as you know, in kinesiology muscle testing, so pre-testing. And then it came around, okay, what is now your goal? What would you like to reach in this coaching session? And she said, this is goal or this goal. And then at the end, the muscle was always saying no, no, no. And around the third or fourth goal was then the right one. And the goal was, I'm aware about myself. So the muscle was saying, yes, that's the right goal. And when she says the sentence, the muscle was going through, so it had a stress, because it's not yet there, but it's the right goal. And then sometimes in the beginning I'm using, the name is a barometer word, so that's a list with many words, what you see here, and I'm testing with the muscle what word do we need, as the muscle is a direct connection to the subconsciousness. And the word what came out was lost. And I said to her, what does this say to you? And she said, nothing really. She don't feel lost by herself. She was never in a position where she felt lost. Childhood, everything was good, so nothing really, no reflection. I said, okay, yeah, fair enough. It's just an additional information. I don't know what the reason is, why it was coming. It was there. If there is no reflection, okay, let's wait and go further. And then we came into the core, so make the core balance, and her muscle feedback was saying we have to make generations, so go in the generation line. So for men it means the man's generation, so father, grandfather and so forth, and for women then of course the women line, with all the mothers behind you. And the feedback was we need 8 generations with the muscle. I was testing that. And I said to her, okay, now find 8 objects here on the beach, stones, leaves or whatever. The good thing was she found stones, because it was a very windy day, so she found then 8 stones, and we make a systemic constellation, or a family constellation. So you put objects on the ground, what represents this kind of people or energies or qualities or whatever. So in her part it was the mother's line, so 1 stone for herself, for her mother, grandmother and so forth. And I said to her, okay, now let's make a line where you put the stones with a little bit of distance, and then show me in which directions these stones are looking, or these persons at the end. She made that, and when we had a look first from outside, the interesting thing was that these stones, persons, were looking all in different directions. This direction, so it was not really something like a pattern you see, so like a full line, or everyone is looking this direction, or it was really a mix. And I said, okay, let's start now on your position. So she stood over your stone with the feet, stone in the middle. And I said, okay, what do we feel here? And she said, it's okay, I don't feel good or bad. So it was neutral, a little bit more positive, but nothing really strong. I said, okay, go out, and then I said, okay, in which position would you like to go next? And then she went to another position, was it third or fourth generation or whatever. And then on the third stone, or it was the fourth, I don't know anymore, she was in the sixth generation. And then she said there, when she was in the sixth generation, so grandmother's position, she said, now I feel something. I feel there's a difference than to the other. I feel more. But it's more what's not really coming up. Then I was testing with a muscle, what does it need to support that? And the information what came that she needs a connection from the crown chakra to the universe where energy can flow. And however this connection looked like at the end, it could be a small tube, it could be a rope, a channel, whatever, color, whatever. So she was closing her eyes, and I've said meditative words like, okay, now you're matching. I feel there is a connection, however this connection looked like, whatever color it has. And after a while she said, oh, now I feel something here. It was something like a spiral, very energetic, and she said, whoa, that's now growing up here, and I feel it more and more here. And I said, okay, let's take your hand here. So she took her hands here over the heart, and she felt it even more, and it was really, really strong. She's staying there, oh, wow, it's so strong. And then I let her in this feeling, that she get this feeling, and then I said, okay, what would you like to say now to your children when you look down on this line all over the stones till the last position where your youngest child is, so herself? And she said, I would like to reanimate that, so give the information to my youngest child to see this energy. Okay, I said, okay, good. Then she went out on her position, or in grandmother's position, grandmother's position, and she stood over her stone, so the last stone in the line. And then she said, when she was staying there, oh, now I feel this energy as well. So the same picture with this spiral was coming, and she held her hand there, it was very strong. And then she said, I see as well my grandmother. Not visually, because she didn't know her, but she felt that there is a connection to her. So it was like a bridge of a connection. And between them, all the generations between them, they have just lost this energy. So it was a reanimation of an energy what was every time there, but not used. So her sixth generation grandmother helped her now to reactivate this energy. And as final test, when this was finished, I said to her, okay, now say your beginning goal sentence again. I'm aware about myself. And she said that, and the muscle was stopping. So there was no stress anymore with that. And she took that with her. And she felt really like, whoa, that was intensive for her. We went back, so she was in a chair, I was in another chair somewhere. And then I was reflecting a little bit the coaching or the session. And it's not about, for example, to find out why is there between the fifth generation and her the energy lost. That's an ego trip. It's not necessary to know why, because the solution was shown, and that's fair enough, that's good. We don't need to know more. But what came up in me was this word, the lost, in the beginning. And then I said to myself, hey, this lost makes now a sense. So it was not that she was lost, the energy was lost. And I went back to her and said to her, hey, lost makes now a sense. And she said, oh yes, now it makes sense. This was just lost and reanimated her in her, and that was it at the end. So think about yourself, where you have this topic about judging yourself based on feedback from others. And of course, if you have the same topic, I had this in the past as well, I would say it's a human being, then ask yourself why you have that. And of course, the story behind you, so your mental backpack, why you have that, is different to this story here. But there is always something hidden behind that, what can be bring on the surface, that you see it and that you solve it, that you don't need this anymore. It makes your life definitely more quiet, more easy, and you are not exhausted, and you are more yourself at the end. Or it could be more yourself, because you're not depending on what others say on you. So I hope this gave you a little inspiration for 2018, and I'm coming back with new stories and wish you a good time. Thank you. Bye bye.